LeBron James got into a bit of a scuffle, a scuffle, earlier in the week when the Lakers were in Atlanta to take on the Atlanta Hawks. And I call it a scuffle, but it was really more of a shouting match. And stuff like this is why I absolutely love fans, and I am so glad that fans are coming back into the picture when it comes to these sporting events, and how much fans make a difference and how much more fun fans make sports. You know, we really miss fans. I think as a sports community, as a sports fan, you miss yourself. You miss being able to go to the game. You miss being able to hear the crowd. And I'm sure that the players feel the same about missing us as well. But fans also give us the opportunity to have a very hearty and hilarious laugh. A meme, if you will. This instance is why I love reporting, and this is why, you know, sports need fans, because this is hilarious. This is absolutely a nothing story. This is 15 minutes of fame if you could put a picture in the dictionary of it. But it is absolutely funny. So, play was stopped in the Lakers and Hawks game as LeBron and a couple of other Lakers players were jawing at the sideline, and this man and his wife, and I think maybe it was the wife's friend as well, they were shouting back at LeBron James, and these four people ended up getting ejected. Now, there's only about 1,500 people that get allowed into these games, give or take, and the Atlanta Hawks aren't the best basketball team in the world anyway, so they're not going to draw a lot of patronage, but still, when LeBron comes to town, that's going to sell you tickets. So there was about 1,300 people in the stadium there, as opposed to 20,000 people in the stadium. When you're four of about 1,300 people, your voice is going to carry a little bit more, and in this situation, their voices definitely carried a little bit more, and it got the attention of LeBron James, and LeBron James and the husband got into a bit of a war with words, and they said their piece, and then the wife got into it. And this is where this story gets absolutely funny to me. They got ejected from the game. LeBron James said after the game that they didn't deserve to be ejected, but they were most likely ejected because the wife decided to pull down her mask and yell at LeBron James. And I'm sorry for those of you on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts, you're not going to be able to get an image of what this person looked like unless you go search for it. But for those of you on YouTube, I'll post a picture probably right here in the top left-hand corner. She looks like the cat meme, the cat yelling, or the woman yelling at the cat meme, where she's like, like, I'm pointing at you, I'm yelling, I'm screaming at you, and the cat's just like, whoa, lady, chill the heck out. Oh, man. And so LeBron says she didn't deserve to be ejected, the fans didn't deserve to be ejected. On the other side of things, and this is why I love social media and why I love fans and how social media can just hop on top of everything and do some reporting and researching for you. They found this woman's Instagram, and they found some Instagram stories of her blasting LeBron, saying that, and I'm going to have to do some serious work with the censorship here, but they said that LeBron called her a bish, and that, called her a bish, said, for the husband to shut up and sit down, essentially, and she basically went on an F-bomb fueled rant. You know what? It probably would be easier for me to play the audio file for you now. I'm just going to do that. Here you go.
Just got kicked out of the game for talking to LeBron James, for talking to my husband. This is such... Listen, let me tell you. LeBron James looked at my husband during the game and cussed him out, and I stood up and I go, don't talk to my husband. Talk to my husband one more time and I will you up. And he started fighting with me. He goes, shut your mouth, dumb bitch. And I go, you shut your bitch.
So obviously, there's some strong words coming from her. I found this absolutely funny. I found this hysterical. I was having a really big laugh about this. Like, how dare you talk to my sugar daddy, I mean husband, like that? Yeah, I looked up who the husband was. He's Chris Carlos, and I'm like, okay. I without knowing what this guy does, I'm going to take a guess at what he does for his living. I'm going to say he does trading, commerce, or distributing. One of those three, or all of the three. And sure enough, he's a distributor. He trades stock and distributes resources, and he is obviously very, very wealthy. And he is about 60 years old. And does anybody want to take a guess at how old this young lady was? Oh, I kind of just gave it away. You would take a look at her wearing a gigantic diamond necklace. There was a story on her Snapchat of her complaining about her really ridiculously nice high heels. She was wearing, at least I think she was wearing some kind of fur coat as well. She had lip filler, eyeshadow off the yin yang. You're thinking, well, maybe at the best she would be maybe 35 or 40. She was 25. Again, how dare you insult the sugar daddy, or excuse me, my husband? How dare you talk to him like that? The person who buys my lip filler and my heels and buys me everything that I could ever want. How dare you insult them? Honey, I need some new earrings. Can we get some of those earrings on the way back from the game? Is that possible? Okay. It was just the funniest thing. And you would only be able to find something like this because of the interaction between fans and athletes in sports. And that's why stuff like this is so special. Now, LeBron, I don't know whether or not LeBron actually called her a bitch, or I don't know whether or not what he said to the husband, who was apparently a gigantic Hawks fan. But regardless of that, I mean, LeBron had his say as well. I think he called the husband old called him old steroid ass, which is hysterical. Again, there's no big story here, but this is why fans are so important to sports. We take it for granted. Obviously, we know what home field advantage, what home court advantage means for teams and how much of an impact fans have for their sporting teams. But in terms of allowing athletes to flex their personality and interact with fans, now obviously there are situations in which fans go too far, using racial slurs, throwing things at players, yelling at players in their face a little bit too much. Obviously, that should be monitored, and that should be dealt with by the respective leagues. I'm sure that Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard, some other NBA players would probably have other things to say about fan interactions apart from this, but I just love how interactions with fans allow players to express their personality. And LeBron is hysterical. Calling this guy, this 60-year-old businessman, and Republic distributor, I think he is, old steroid ass. And then you have his 25-year-old trophy wife, and I'm trying to be nice about what I say about here, but let's be honest, when your husband is in the 60-year-old range and you're 25, and you have the lip filler and eyeshadow and deliberately over the top makeup and high heels and a shiny diamond necklace. It's like, look, let's call it what it is. She was yelling at LeBron, like I said, don't talk about my husband like that. And then she does a little hair flip and sits down and says, no, it's okay. I'm calm. It's okay. And then they got ejected, and then she cursed out LeBron on her social media. This is the most 25-year-old trophy wife thing I think I've ever seen. At the risk of talking about it anymore, I just thought this was funny. No real story here. It'll be this couple's 15 minutes of fame, and we'll forget about them in maybe 2 weeks or so, maybe 2 weeks at maximum. But this is why sports need fans. We wouldn't get this type of hilarious interaction anywhere else, and I'm happy that fans are starting to come back into the picture. In respective leagues. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this segment from the Hard Headed Sports Podcast. You've heard what I've had to say, now I'm interested to hear what you think as well. If you enjoyed this highlight from the show and want to watch more highlights from the show as they come out after the show's completion, you should definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you're interested in listening to the entire show in its full-length entirety, you should follow the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. Thank you so much for watching. watching. I will see you all very soon.